A Stuart 10H steam engine build, part 15. This job is nearing completion and has been simple and enjoyable. In this episode I make the steam chest and piston rod glands. I have to partially dismantle the engine to fit these parts. On screen at the moment, along with the engine, are some of the tools that I need to complete this job. You're looking at something called a tailstock die holder because it holds a die and it fits in the tailstock. It's actually designed to hold different sizes of dies, and there's also an adapter for really big ones. This die holder was fitted with a 5/16 by 32 threads per inch ME type die. I'm about to change it for this one. This is a 1/4 by 32 threads per inch, and once again it's an ME or model engineering type of die. When fitting dies into a die holder, tighten the tapered centre bolt first. This opens up the die slightly and stops it cutting undersize. And for gland nuts, you definitely do not want the threads to be undersize. This is the massive amount of metal that was in the kit that I have to make the two parts from. One for the steam chest gland and one for the piston rod gland. After I've made these gland nuts, I will be fitting them in their respective places, one on the valve spindle and one on the piston rod. In this clip I'm removing the steam chest cover and the steam chest. I need to do this for a number of reasons, one being to make gaskets that I'm not going to make in this episode, but I also need to fit this. This is the cladding that goes around the cylinder. Once upon a time, Stuart cladding was really good. It was steel and it was anodised and lasted for many years. The modern stuff is aluminium, it's quite thick and it marks and dents very easily. But all is not lost. I recommend that you go to the supermarket and buy some cheap baking trays and just cut them up into the sizes that you require. They're already painted, the paint's not brilliant but it's good enough. And of course it's heat resistant. What I'm doing here in a very crude fashion is marking the position where I'm going to drill a hole for the exhaust pipe. I will also be drilling 4 holes in this piece of metal to fix it to the cylinder. I'll probably show that in the next episode. What I'm doing here is removing the 2 nuts that hold the cylinder to the sole plate. And here I'm removing the piston using a pair of circlip pliers in the holes that I drilled. With the small piece of brass hexagon supplied with the kit, you only get one shot at this, but luckily if I foul up, I do have some more of this. To make the valve spindle gland, I need to turn part of the external diameter of one of the pieces of brass hexagon down to 1/4 of an inch. And here I'm using my micrometer on a 1/4 of an inch twist drill. As usual, it's not good engineering practice, but it saves time. I initially set the micrometer using a twist drill, and then I check the numbers to make sure it's okay. I can normally get quite close to 1/4 of an inch by eye, but I'm not going to be that clever in this case. Because I really would like to make for this original Stuart engine 2 gland nuts using the metal that was supplied with the casting set. You will note that I'm only taking fine cuts. And at this point in the process, it's really very close to 1/4 of an inch in diameter. But it needs to be exactly 1/4 of an inch in diameter. As I showed earlier, I tightened the centre tapered bolt first in the tailstock die holder to slightly open the die, because all being well, that should allow for a very snug fit in the threads of the steam chest, which were already cut when I was given this part finished engine. This job is a bit premature. I'm centre drilling the middle of the part. And here I'm using a twist drill which is 1 imperial size less than 1/8 of an inch, which is the finished size that I need the hole to be. And I arrive at the finished size by using a reamer. And here I'm changing the speed of the lathe to slow it down. If you ream at a high speed or feed in the reamer too fast, you will probably get an oversized hole, and this is the last thing that you want. Once I'd finished reaming the hole, I checked the fit using the valve spindle, and it's a very good fit. The next part of the job involves threading the end of the piece of brass. The operation of a tailstock die holder is fairly self-explanatory. You can use manual die holders and hold them against the work using the tailstock chuck, but this is much better. After winding in the tailstock die holder nice and slowly, I wind it out and I end up with a thread, and it's very good indeed. What I need to do now before I carry on is get rid of all the burrs on the piece of brass. It's much easier to do this while the piece of brass is as large as it is. If you wait until you've finished making the part, it won't be as good as if you do it this way. What I need to do now is shorten the threaded part. It needs to be just the right length. Too long and it's ugly, too short and you don't have enough threads. Once I shortened it, I re-center drilled. This is not essential, but the center cone helps to push the gland material against the rod that is traversing through it. The part of this piece of brass which is going to be the steam chest gland is now finished. All I need to do is part it off. Make sure that your parting tool is exactly on the center height, and also make sure it's sharp. In the case of this piece of brass, I didn't get all the way through it because it fell off once the metal got very thin, because of the 1/8 of an inch diameter hole down the middle. The parting tool gave a particularly good finish, or at least it did on the brass hexagon that was in the chuck. This, by the way, is the finished steam chest gland. I turned it round in the chuck and lightly nipped it with the jaws so as not to damage the threads, and faced across the front. I got rid of the resultant burr on the hole by hand using the reamer. I want this part to look really well made because it's very visible on the engine. So I got a finish like this by using a whetstone. And it really does look like it was made by a proper engineer. The process for making the piston rod gland is almost identical to what you have just seen, except for the size of the hole in the centre, which needs to be the same size as the piston rod, and the external thread is 5/16 by 26 threads per inch. Unlike as shown on the drawing, I left the hexagon part slightly longer to make it more accessible for adjustment. In this clip I'm checking the size of the piston rod with my micrometer, and then I double check the size with a twist drill to make sure there can be no errors. And here, before I cleaned it up on the whetstone, is the piston rod gland ready to fit. That's it for now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.